Hey everybody, we are back with Gruul Aggro, and with the bannings out of the way and the VV deck gone, Mono Red taking a big step back, losing Screaming Nemesis. Is this the aggro deck to be right now? So this is very similar to the deck that we have seen for a while now. Llanowar Elf, Zaz Chocobo, Bristly Bill, Tifa Lockhart, Mossborn Hydra. This has been in the meta for a while. Traveling Chocobo, for a little while it was a 2 or 3 of. Now it's a 4 of in all of these landfall decks. With Ice Till Explorer coming in and pushing the power level, you get to play lands from graveyards. Of course, you're playing a lot of fetch lands, so when this comes in, if you still have your land drop available, you could play 2 fetch lands, fetch 2 more lands. That's 4 lands in total. So this is a big time upgrade here at 4 mana. This deck is playing 4 Snakeskin Veil. We'll see how that works out. The 2 mana one that gives Indestructible is also something we can consider. And then 3 copies of World Soul's Rage. This is red, green, and X to put X number of lands from your hand or the graveyard onto the battlefield tapped and deal X damage to any target. So this could go to the face, this could go to a blocker. You're putting lands onto the battlefield, so you're triggering everything. I have high hopes for this deck, but like anything, we got to see how it works in action. So we're going to jump right in and give it a whirl. So let's go ahead and get a couple games in, and then we'll see how this stacks up against some of the other decks we have. It's an exciting time where you're really able to brew, and the format is wide open now that it has a little bit more room to breathe. Obviously, the mirror decks are the deck that is most likely to step up and fill the void for VV decks. There still is an Is It Prowess deck. How good that deck is still remains to be seen. If you're using enchantments to make 1/1 prowess tokens, probably some kind of bounce deck would probably make a lot of sense. But anyway, here we are. We're going first. We're going to play a land. We'll have a Fable Passage next turn to be able to put 2 counters on Zaz Chocobo, and then we'll be right out on to the rest of the curve. So we'll go ahead and keep this. Maybe a little land light. We'd like to see maybe 3 lands there, but we shall see. We can always use Esper Origins to kind of dig for a land. Obviously, that land comes about on the following turn. And we have Mono Red. Our opponent did not get the memo. Again, I said that in jest, right? Mono Red is still going to be a big-time deck. It's just it really depends on how much of a threat it's going to be. We could have cracked first and got an extra point of damage there. I think that makes sense. This is the Boros deck. Okay. We'll go ahead and crack now. We can grab the mountain so we don't have to worry about it later. So we either go Traveling Chocobo, or we could go Tifa with Snakeskin Veil up. This deals X damage to the opponent. X is the number of creature you control with 2 powers. So we can definitely do either one here. We don't have a big window to block, but yeah, let's go Tifa and hold up Snakeskin Veil and see what our opponent's going to do. Equal to a creature you control to any target creature. Yep. We'll block here, block there. If they put the counter on there, we'll put the counter on ours. Gonna have to think about something. X is the number of creatures you control. Okay. So this is going to be a 4, 6, right? So putting the Snakeskin Veil, that doesn't help there. We'll go ahead and eat the Higher Claw. This will be 4 and then 8 on attack. We could play Snakeskin Veil, make it 3, 6, and 12. Not exactly what we're looking for there. What we can do is we can play the land, attack in, and then play the Chocobo. Knowing that we have a land on top. This represents a lot of damage, but yep. But he's gonna have to hold mana up for something, right? Like, okay. I block there and then he tries to shoot it. Then we crack in response and Snakeskin Veil. Okay, not exactly what we wanted, but keep going. We will have to pause here. Okay, 2 more creatures. Quite a bit of damage there. Yeah, too much for us to handle. Blocking not a forte of this deck, so let's jump into the next one and see how it goes. Okay, let's get off to a better start here. Okay, bigger version of the deck, not so much on the 1s and 2s, but we want to make sure we're not getting overrun. But we can go ahead and use a fetch land here. Opponent will attack for 2. Okay. We'll go grab a Bristly Bill. Taking quite a bit of damage here. Is he going to play out the Paw Patch? No. Take another spider and just make it bigger. Okay. Get a +1/+1 counter and get Hydra. Next turn, Hydra is going to be huge. He does have a big creature himself, of course. So this is... So land makes it 2. We play Ice Till. Play an additional land. Right? Evolving Wilds. That makes it 4. An additional land. That makes it 8. So it can block there. Oh, we can do it with Fable Passage to get another one, right? Okay, we'll do that. We'll go get the mountain. Okay, now we'll take Ice Till. We have 1 land drop, right? So we have 1 more to go. So we'll get Fable Passage. And then when we crack Fable Passage, now we'll have 44/44 with Trample and attacking there. So Ice Till, a really nice design. If you're playing your land as your 4th mana, playing it, you have 1 additional land drop from your graveyard. And in this deck, having land cards in the graveyard are pretty elementary by the time you're getting up to 4 mana. It is hard because you do want to curve out. You do want to go 1, 2, 3 into your 4. And with so many tap lands, that's not something that's really possible. You usually have to take a turn off somewhere in the middle there. Like here, you could go Llanowar Elf or Chocobo first. You can go land, elf, and then on your turn you can go Chocobo, then the second land, or the escape tunnel if you're not doing anything else with that land, and get a second counter. We'll go ahead and keep that in mind. Our opponent is thinking about their keep, and okay, they're good to go. So either way, I don't think it matters too much. We'll start with Llanowar, just in case they have an early removal spell. We'd rather this get removed than the Chocobo. So here's where you want to make sure you are playing your Chocobo first, and then you can go ahead and now play a 2-drop with something like Tifa and be ready for Mossborn Hydra and then the fetch land. Opponent is black-blue. Chances this may be countered. It is. Okay. We are... So this would be 4. Go ahead and grab that mountain when we have a chance. Next turn it's Chocobo, and then try to grab a land. Fetch land works perfectly there. See what they do here. Could be another It is not a counter spell. Good to know. Double triggers here. Opponent likely to have some kind of removal for one creature. This is going to be 2, then 4, then 8, then 16. Okay. I have to have another removal. Right? Because 6 and 8. Yep. A counter, a removal, and still attacking for lethal on turn 4. Very powerful deck. Definitely have to see how the meta shakes up. This is not something where you can say this is overpowered, right? There certainly are a lot of decks in the meta that are vying for that new top spot, but this is certainly up there in the conversation. We haven't even gotten to the Gruul part of the Gruul Landfall. Maybe in this matchup we will. Let's see what we got. Okay. A little bit slower hand. We'll start with a tap land. Surveil land, okay. We'll go with Tifa first. Okay, map tokens. We'll go Mossworn. Okay. So it's Mossborn and a land. Do we play 2 lands here? Maybe not. Okay. Would this be a counter spell? It is. Okay. So 4, 8. Or we put out Traveling Chocobo at the same time. So 4 and 8. If this is 3, that would be 6 and 12. Not really what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and play Traveling Chocobo. Fetch land coming again. Split up is not going to be super helpful here, as the threats are varied, although if they do kill Hydra, Chocobo is going to be much less effectful, and yeah, this one's not going to be good for us. And as soon as he has some card draw, we'll end up we'll end up with a concession, but we do need to see that he has some card draw. Yep, that's good enough. Okay. And good one going to the control player there. And we'll jump right into the next one in just a second. Okay, next one right up. Important lesson, can't control the cards you draw, just control how you react to them. Obviously, Magic sometimes gets frustrating, but let's control what we can control and everything else will work out. So, yep, we'll keep this. A little bit of a slower hand, but good hand nonetheless. Yep. Let's get Bristly Bill out. Draw and discard. Okay. We can play an Esper Origins. We can play a land and get Mossborn out. The land will give himself a +1/+1 counter. Yeah, I think that's worth it. Okay. Can't do any tricks with ice till yet. Okay, and we're not going to have a chance. Okay. So, it is Traveling Chocobo. Play one of the fetch lands. Unless we need something on the top. Even if we do, we can't really do anything about it. So we could go with two nice threats, but right now we'll make sure he doesn't have the ability to profitably block. Get another land. Here, let's go get the mountain. Just in case it becomes relevant. We can attack for 6 here. Okay. It's going to destroy one of them. Question is which one? Okay. Chocobo makes... Bristly Bill makes sense. We have one fetch land in the bin. We can play a land here. We can play this land and not crack it. We can't play another one. That's not what I exactly wanted to do. Okay. Does he choose to block here? Yep, it gives a 4/4. Okay. We'll grab another land. Okay. So we can put a whole bunch of lands onto the battlefield. So we play land, and we have 7, 8. So we deal 6 damage here and put 6 lands onto the battlefield. Now we don't have 6 lands, of course. Attack. Yep, terror at the peaks. Yep. Sacrifice all the creatures, and then bring back all creatures that were not there in last turn. Legendary that you control. And they should have this here. Another strong deck, the Reanimator deck, really strong. Let's jump into another one. Let's see what we got next. So far we've fought a variety of decks out there, and if that is what WotC was trying to do by this banned announcement, then I think that part has been a success so far. Obviously, anytime they do have a banned announcement, some people out there are losing decks that they have invested in, and we don't want that to happen, right? That's not something that is good for any of us. If you've played Magic long enough, it has a chance of happening to you. It certainly happened to me. My first real deck that I put together in paper was a modern deck, Splinter Twin. It was banned, and it was something that really took me out of the game. As somebody who really loves the game, I think, you know, it's safe to say that was the closest that I ever came to leaving the game. Because that deck took me so long to build up and build into. And it wasn't just the monetary value. Modern cards back then, you know, they were decently expensive, but it wasn't that. It was the time, it was the effort, it was learning how to play a deck. Being known as a Splinter Twin guy at a local game store, right? It was those kind of things. People thought of you as something because you played the same deck over and over again. And I played that deck for probably, I'm remembering, about 9 months or so. I could be wrong there. But I played it quite a bit, and I really enjoyed the deck. And not being able to play it certainly took me out of feeling like the game was important, and the game was, you know, what I wanted to do with my time. And luckily I did get into other, mostly degenerate decks in Modern. I never played too much fair Magic. It was always something, you know, something fair, unfair and fun. Something like Storm or something like Dredge. It was always something like off axis, but I certainly had a lot of fun with it. But losing Splinter Twin at that time, it was really tough. And so for anyone who is cheering on the bans in Standard right now, yes, Standard absolutely needed it, but let's also keep in mind that there are people out there that only could have afforded one deck, and this was the deck that they chose, and now they can't play with that deck anymore. So we'll keep that in mind also. Okay, so they only have one card in hand. We don't have to crack this. In fact, if we don't, we'll get it untapped next turn anyway. So let's go ahead and to get more life, and we'll take the drain trigger. Okay, so you can get a +1/+1. Now, let's attack. Maybe he just blocks with the bat. He does not. So let's go ahead and we'll go get a forest. Get 2 more counters. Oh, 4 more counters. Smash and take a Llanowar. Maybe as a chump blocker, and some drain triggers. They're going to draw a card. Okay. Let's look at our graveyard. We could Ice Till and have 4 land drops. Have extra triggers here, but then we're going to end up with 4 big creatures. We swing in and they don't really do that much, right? They just swing back. And we'll crack both of them. Okay, we could play something, but I think we want to go ahead and attack here. They're going to jump block with these bats. Let's see what else our opponent can do. Okay. They have an Essence Chandler, 2 lands, and 1 card that they just drew. You can attack for 2. You can draw a card, and that'll create a bat. It's gonna have to block everybody next turn. You could have a removal for Ice Till. And then, nope. Nope. Jump into one more here. See what we have. Okay. All fetch lands, slower hand, but we'll get there. World Soul Rage. I'd like to play with this a little bit more just to see exactly how good it is. Obviously, it is. It's definitely a powerful card. I just don't know exactly how powerful. Haven't seen it in action too much myself, so want to get used to. VV sleeves. You know, VV on this side of the deck, but not the other. Okay, Zaz Chocobo. We're off to a pretty slow start, but we'll go ahead and grab that mountain. He'll likely have a fetch land and have 2 more toughness here, so no thought about doing a world soul for 1. If we draw land, it won't be at 1 for a while. Okay, 2. Okay, so we will grab a counter. Okay, we pop this now? No, we don't have to. We do need to draw some lands. We can get some lands with Ice Till, of course, but other than that, we're a little short on lands. Unless our opponent taps out, we are not going to block here. Yeah, it would be a 4/5. Yep, even if we open this up, it will be a 4/5. Well, we're gonna crack it anyway, because we're gonna need it for Hydra. He's going to attack for 7. No, he's going to... I don't know what he did there. We certainly want to play Hydra, but we're going to have to play Chocobo just to get a land going here. Yep, that might do it. And without this, there's nothing Ice Tail Explorer is going to do by itself. Yeah, good games. We never did get the Rage off. Maybe that is a bit of a downside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck, and we can kind of wrap up here with some initial thoughts. So, Ice Tail Explorer was absolutely amazing. I think that is the perfect 4-drop for the deck. Traveling Chocobo became much more important. Being able to look ahead, draw some lands when you need it. I do think we did not get enough Snakeskin Veils and World Soul Rages to really kind of see how these were working all that well. Esper Origins, we ended up not playing it while it was in our hand. There was a couple of times where it was in the graveyard where it becomes even more attractive, but usually that's something to recover from some extra removal. It's a great deck that will really push the pace. Is it the best deck in the format right now on the aggro side? The number of tap lands that you have to play is the limiting factor here, right? So you're playing 12 lands that are tapped on turns 1, 2, and 3. That really makes it difficult. It makes it difficult to curve out, to play Mossborn on 3 instead of Mossborn on 4 or 5, right? It makes a big difference on how effective this card could be. So the jury's still out on this deck. I think it is a top tier deck, but exactly how it plays out, I think there's something a little bit off there. Maybe it's the instant for 2 mana that gives it hexproof and indestructible at the same time, but it would require that we hold up some mana as we are going, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to play the spells out. But we'll see what the future holds for this landfall deck. I think it is kind of the pace setter right now in Standard, and we'll see what the next couple of weeks hold for it. If you like this kind of content, you can go ahead and give us a thumbs up, give us a comment below, and tell me what you think about this deck or what you think the meta is going to be shifting into. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to take your support even further, we now offer channel memberships. Members get exclusive member-only videos, exclusive polls, all the other things that YouTube memberships have, like emotes and loyalty badges, all of those things. I really do appreciate anybody that would like to support us at that tier. We're really trying to build something special here and build a community. So if you'd like to take that support to the next level, joining the membership would mean a lot to me. Until next time, have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.